In the annals of yore unfolds a somber narrative, a tale of dread that traverses the realms of Colorado, Illinois, and Kansas. Could this be the same killer? The ghastly account tells of the merciless murder of 14 souls, a bone-chilling saga that began in the fateful precincts of Colorado Springs on the ominous night of September 17th. The mysterious trail of death began as follows. September 17th, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Victims, Mrs. Alice May Burnham and 2 children, a girl of 5 named Alice and a boy of 2 named John, located at 321 West Dale Street in Colorado Springs. Henry Frank Wayne, his wife Blanche, and daughter Blanche, who was 2 years old. Of 742 Harrison Place, located just behind the home of Alice Burnham. Alice hadn't been seen by her sister for 3 days' time, so her, along with a neighbor, went to the home on West Dale Street. Having a key to the home, she used it to gain entry. Upon doing so, she was greeted with the horrid scent of decaying flesh and blood splatter on the walls. The sight was of unimaginable horror. Little Alice was sprawled across the body of her mother, who was in bed, and beside her was the body of John. All 3 of them had their skulls crushed open. Also found was a crumpled and partially charred, strategically placed newspaper near a window curtain within the Burnham household. Notably, the lower segment of said curtain bore the scars of scorching, prompting the inference that the perpetrator, following the snuffing out of the life of his latest victim, endeavored to set the entire domicile ablaze. After the Burnham home was searched, the cottage located at the back of the property was taken to next. This home, too, had been visited by the maniac. 3 people in the home had been butchered in the same manner as the Burnhams. All 3 of the Wayne family had been slaughtered in their bed, their heads splayed open. The Wayne family had not been in the home for very long, maybe 3 weeks, as they had just moved to town. October 1st, Monmouth, Illinois. Victims William E. Dawson, wife Charity, and 13-year-old daughter Georgia. Though the details were slim, it seems as the Dawsons were heinously slain in the same manner as the 6 souls in Colorado. All 3 of the Dawson household lost their lives while in their bed. And just as the 6 in Colorado, their deaths also came on a Sunday night in what was believed to be an axe to the head. October 15th, Ellsworth, Kansas. Victims Will Showman, wife and 3 children, Lester, age 7, Fern, aged 4, and Fenton, aged 2. In one bed were Mr. and Mrs. Showman and their youngest child, a little boy of only 2 years. Their heads were beaten in with an axe so that it was almost impossible to identify them. The baby, Fenton, was lying across the body of the father with his head against the wall. In another bed, in the same room, were the 2 older children, Lester and Fern. The head of one of the children in the other bed was the worst mangled of the 5. They had been killed in the same way as their parents. Also noted in the home was that a cloak had been placed over a telephone to muffle it, and an unlit lamp on the bed's footboard created an eerie scene of the last moments of the victims. So many questions remain. Are all of these murders tied? Could it be that there is one single maniac taking the lives of men, women, and children? Was it mere happenstance that each incident unfolded on Sunday nights, neatly spaced 2 weeks apart? The perpetrator leaving behind no discernible trace. But a few items that may be clues. A blood-stained hatchet was discovered at the rear entrance of the Wayne home, and in proximity to one crime scene, a gas pipe smeared with blood, bearing an inscription referencing Colorado Springs, introduces a disquieting prospect of a sinister connection. Theories abound, delving into the potential madness of the assailant, with whispers of a conceivable escape from an asylum injecting an additional layer of intricacy into the ongoing investigation. Who might be the elusive culprit? Suspicion lingers regarding a plausible familial vendetta implicating a relative of Mrs. Showman as a harbinger of vengeance. Could Mrs. Bauman's husband be implicated? During the incidents, he resided at the local asylum as a groundskeeper. According to the accounts of the arresting officers, His stoic demeanor raised suspicions. All three homes situated near the train tracks prompt speculation. Is the murderer a transient, a wanderer with a morbid thirst for blood?